Welcome back to episode 6 of the Fryerning XL Carp blog. We've been away for a month, so apologies, but as most of you will know, the lake's closed down for spawning, and with nothing being caught, even I couldn't come up with an entertaining blog. So we took a month off, and the carp had a fair bit of time off as well, which has done an enormous amount of good. Great management, guys shutting the place down to let the carp go about their business, their annual nuptials, without the added stress of angling pressure. So a period of closure where the feed kept going in from the management, the fish were left alone, they had a very good spawn, and it's over again for another year. You join us now, it's early July, the weather is absolutely fantastic, Wimbledon's in full flow, and it's time to have a little recap. I think probably the last time you saw me I didn't have any of this tan or anything, so we've had a nice bit of weather. And the fishing has been exceptional. At the end of episode 5, we predicted that there were going to be some bountiful catches to report on, and it's been exactly that. So grab a cup of tea, sit back, and you're in for a treat. The first angler to get off the mark in May was Mitch Atwood, who caught 4 fish from the lodge swim. The biggest of those was the very, very ever impressive Nun of 47 pounds and 10 ounces. But Mitch added another of the A team to that with the amazing Emperor at over 43 pounds, backing that up with a 29 pound linear and a 20 pound common. So a fine haul of fish indeed. Well done, Mitch. Roy Prodger, sorry mate, your name always makes me smile, counted for 4 fish as well. Great haul in there, my man. The Pretty One being the biggest fish that Roy caught at 40 pounds 8 ounces. That's a notable event. It's a great fish for Roy, and he continues to do very, very well on the main lake, but a bit of a milestone also for the fishery as well, because it's another new 40 pound carp. That takes the tally of fish over 40 pound in the beautiful main lake behind me to no fewer than 22 at the right time of year. There's not a lot of other fisheries that can match that, 22 fish over 40 pounds. So the Pretty One, a new 40, and things are marching ever onwards. Other anglers to get amongst the A team in early May was Steve Falco. Steve's been around on the scene for a very long time, and he accounted for a 39 pound 15 ounce mirror. And that was followed up shortly after with Neil Messenger, who caught 4 scale, another one of the A team, at bang on 40 pounds. Well done to you guys. On top of that, there's been plenty more fish, so feast your eyes on these. Here's a few of the other fish that have been out of the main lake prior to that spawning spell. During this same period of time, the Valley Lake came to life and started throwing up a lot of big fish. In fact, a lot of big ones too, because 4 different P.B.s were entered in the catch report list. Now that's 4 different personal bests to 3 different anglers, so really, really good time for the Valley Lake. A lot of big fish, a lot of 30 pounders coming out as well, which we're going to have a look at next. One of these guys who did very well was Darryl Ray, new member. He broke his personal best twice in one session with a fish of 29 pounds and then one of 31 pounds. And he backed that up with the koi, which is very hard to catch indeed. So good effort there, mate. A previous tutorial client of mine, Ian Mitchell, really good angler, nice fella. He's been coming down a fair bit and notching a few of those carp up under his belt, and he cracked the 30 pound barrier with an amazing looking 31 pound fish. So well done to you, Ian, top bombing. After that, the carp started to finally show signs of wanting to spawn. Straight away, the management shut the lakes, and they continued to stay shut for a period of 2 weeks, which allowed these fish, some of which are very, very old, very, very big obviously, to go about those vital spawning rituals that they do every year. Spawning itself can be a stressful thing. On some fisheries, you know, over the years, sometimes the spawning itself can be the demise of 1 or 2 big fish. Pleased to say there haven't been any here, but it is a stressful time, and that's why it's so important that the management close the lakes. And if you're fishing somewhere else, you know, and the management aren't on the ball like these guys are, and they haven't shut the lake, then it's your responsibility not to fish for those fish while they're spawning. So a 2-week period, everything was left nice and quiet. The fish went through an amazing shag fest, and during that period of time, the management fed the lakes really aggressively with the feed that you can get on site, the very high quality pellets and boilies, so that the fish Could feed straight after spawning, with the aim being to get them back up into tip-top condition as soon as possible. Good work, lads. Now, the fish on all the lakes spawned successfully. Some of the bigger notable females dropped as much as 20% of their body weight, which is completely normal. On a lot of lakes they don't shed that much because they can't go through the process to its fulfillment effectively enough. But the fact that we've seen them drop such huge amounts of spawn is beneficial to their health and to their overall longevity. So it doesn't take very long till they're back up at their fullest, fattest weights again. But when that spawn is excised from their bodies, it's the best thing for them. And you know, the worst things that can happen is when spawn can stay inside a fish, they can get almost egg bound and it can go rancid, and it can even kill the fish. So effective spawning is so important to the health and vitality of the fishery. Once that was done, the lake was on a reopening date, and it's almost like fishing June the 16th again, back in the olden days. God, I sound old now. Yeah. Makeup team, move in and cover up my grey hair. Yeah, in the olden days, probably a lot of you don't remember June the 16th, but that was after 3 months abstinence of fishing. You know, I think that's finished in about 1995, but just 2 weeks of being away from Fryerning, you know, that's a build-up of excitement and expectation, which is quite a wonderful thing, actually. And I was one guy that came down for the opening, and I did a night and a day up in the millstone, had a few bites, a couple of little catfish, a few carp, up to 27 pounds. So it was a really nice result for a short session. Unfortunately, my camera was playing up on that session, so I haven't got any shots, but it was a nice little welcome back. Got a few planes going over today, as you can hear, from the local airfield. Beautiful summer's day, everyone's out and about, it's fantastic. Other people to come down and cash in on that early opening were Roy Prodgett again. The man is on fire. He caught several carp up to 29 pounds. And Ian Holman, on his birthday weekend, how fitting could it be to catch the queen of the lake, the Germ, at over 48 pounds, still enormous. Imagine that a fish at its smallest weight is 48 pounds. So well done to you, Ian. Hope you had a great birthday, mate. Now, a lot of you, if you've watched these blogs or flicked through the catch reports and followed the guys on Twitter and so on, you would have seen Simon Davey crop up. Simon Davey's an old school angler, and as you've probably heard me mention before on these blogs, back in the day we used to refer to him as the trawler man. And he's been really living up to his nickname down here at Fryerning. I think it's probably fair to say that in modern times he's rewritten the record books in terms of numbers of fish being caught on the main lake. Maybe in the old days when the fish were smaller that catches of this sort of size were possible, but these days it just doesn't happen. And Simon accounted across 2 sessions for no less than 32 carp from the main lake. Now, that is an immense result. I'm just trying to quantify it. You know, for a lot of anglers that would probably be, on the main lake, that could be 5 years worth of fishing or more. So an amazing achievement. In fact, Simon caught so many carp that I'm actually going to have to pick up a bit of paper to read some of them to you, because I can't remember them all. So on his first session when he came back, managed to get into the lodge swim. And on this session, Simon caught 20 fish, with 6 of those being members of the A team, which were 2 40s, 5 30s and 6 20s. And it was the none at 41 pound, the netted mirror over 40 as well, a 36 pound mirror, Bertie's linear at 36 pound, the pretty one at 35 pound, the Riddler at 36 pound and the Starburst at 30 pound. You can see why I needed a bit of paper to read those to you. An absolutely phenomenal bit of angling, and that was just on his first trip. Something that probably turned Simon's head as much as anybody else's during that session was when he was asked to help out another member, Nick Royce. Nick caught the enormous catfish in this lake, which I believe bottomed out 130 pound scales. This fish is of such proportions. It's homegrown as well, you know. It's not an import that's just been, this has grown this big in this lake behind me, and it's got a head this wide, like some carp anglers you meet, you know. It's just absolutely astonishing. And it's so big now that I at some point I'm going to come down and just fish for that catfish. And there is another one of similar size. Have a look at the pictures of Nick Royce with it, and I'm sure you'll be suitably blown away. Now that catfish is a force of nature, and you don't see too many people come down here and fish for the cats, but that is, in national terms, that is a fish of enormous significance. So yeah, fancy a little go at that. Simon came back, and as I mentioned, in his next session he had 12 fish. And again, I'm just going to have to pick up the scoreboard. Simon, look, you're the only person that catches so many fish, I can't remember them all. So 2 40s, 4 30s and 4 20s. So that's a total of 32 carp. Didn't manage to catch the mommon, but I'm sure you'll be back to settle that score pretty soon. Well done, Simon. Long-time venue regulars, father and son duo Steve and Elliot Bertram also got in on the action, with Steve catching the Gambler at 34 pounds, a lovely carp that is, backed up with a couple of 20s, and Elliot taking his most desired carp and the queen of the lake, the Germ, at a fantastic 49 pounds and 14 ounces. Great effort, boys. One common theme that connects the success of Steve, Elliot and Simon, the trawler man, is bait quantity. These guys are not afraid at all to put in plenty of bait. They're good anglers, so they know when to bait and how to bait, but all three of them have applied big quantities of bait to amass their hauls of carp. As you find often on a lot of different lakes, when the fish have had a really good spawn, after that all they really want to do is eat. So the fish kept on coming. Adam McGuinness dropped in after Simon and managed to have a good result. He caught, well, really the greatest fish in the lake in a lot of people's opinion, and certainly Adam's dream fish, which was the mommon at just over 40 pounds. That to me is quite incredible really, because the mommon is not a deep-bodied, gutty fish anyway, and to think that that's been well over 50 pounds, to have shed 10 pounds in spawn, that is absolutely phenomenal, and as I said earlier, will really help the long-term health and longevity of these fish. Adam braced that with the Emperor, another favourite of mine, and that was over 43 pounds as well. That is a top pair of fish, well done. Tommy Flower caught arguably the rarest fish in the main lake, and that's a common called Luke's Common. I think I'm right in saying that's about a once a year capture that fish does now. So it's one of the oldest fish as well. It's been in the lake an awful long time, and as I said, hardly comes out. So a real notable capture there, Tommy. That's a great effort, mate. Over 36 pounds as well. Ryan Woodland's been coming down here for a few years now, and Ryan's a very good little angler. He fishes a bit differently to everybody else, and I've sat and had a few chats with him, and he started to do really well and getting amongst the fish with regularity. And Ryan caught that rarest of rare things recently when he had a double take, 2 nets full of fish. The first one being Charlie at 35 pound and the other one being the big linear at 36 pounds. So what a brace of fish to get. Fantastic effort, Ryan. As soon as the Valley Lake opened after spawning, it was normal service being resumed again, and the members were getting amongst the fish. Darryl Ray, who was catching well before the break, opened his account after the break with a 28 pound stunner, and Ben Seeley notched up a mid-20 and a 40 pound catfish. These were followed by a 33 pound 8 ounce fabulous mirror for Kane Sutton. Ben Edkins had another personal best, which was a 32 pound 3 ounce common, and Chris Marchant caught a 30 pound 2 ounce common, a trio of absolutely fantastic Valley Lake fish. Father and son duo Mark and Finn Richardson have been coming down to Fryerning for a few years now. I've spoken to them on occasion, and really nice pair of chaps. Finn's a great little angler as well, coming on fantastically under Mark's guidance. Every year they progress, every year they catch more fish, and have a look at this. This is Finn holding his personal best of 26 pounds and 8 ounces from the valley. That's the highlight of my monthly blog really. Well done, Finn, that is absolutely outstanding. The car park lake has been fishing extremely well, as it always does of course. It's a really reliable little venue to drop onto and get a few bites if you're experiencing a bit of a fallow period, which we all do from time to time, or if you're a new member and you're just going up through the gradings in carp fishing and you want to get plenty of bites and work out the best ways to catch them, I should say. Main lake member David Wilson dropped down there just for a short half-day session and caught no less than 14 carp, which went up to 23 pounds. I'm sure you'll agree that's not action to turn your nose up at all. And when we finish this, I'll be going down there for a little look to see if there's any fish to be caught, because if you've just got a few hours to spare, there's few places better than the car park to go for a quick bite. So well done, David. Now the 23 pounder that David Wilson had is quite a large fish for the car park, and it's testament to the fact that the guys have been feeding these lakes very aggressively, all of the lakes. And certainly whenever I've been down, the first thing you hear in the morning is the lid going off the feed bucket and the pellets going into the car park lake, and the fish are getting very, very big as a result. So I think when I fished it in the past, they tended to sort of average low to mid double, but there's a lot of bigger fish coming through, which makes it a very, very viable proposition for a 20-pound carp, maybe your first 20-pounder, and of course a great proposition to go down and get several bites on a short session from. Here's a few other fish. There's too many to mention. Here's a few from both the car park and the valley. Sat here at the moment, it is like being in a magical secret garden, and it's just not like any other fishery you can go to in the UK. I'm sure you can see from some of the vistas around, maybe the guys will drop in a few cutaway shots. The lake at the moment is verdant and blooming and incredible looking. All different types of fauna and trees and flowers. It's absolutely lush. So that's testament again to the work that the guys put in down here. They're always pruning, cutting, watering and growing stuff, and that's why the place looks as incredible as it does. A big thanks also to Phil Randall, who came down during the close period and really did help out by sprucing up the toilet and shower block. Thanks very much for that, Phil. We will see you back for what will be episode 7, which will be filmed early in August. And early August, I mean, that sounds like it's getting towards the end of the summer. Let's hope we have an Indian summer that continues on well into late September, and we can enjoy more of this wonderful weather. So whether you're out barbecuing or chasing carp or doing a bit of both, be lucky, and we look forward to seeing you soon.